Okay, we moved into inequalities on Friday. So inequalities were all about less than, greater than, or less than and greater, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Okay, so we're going to continue on with that by actually writing those today, like we wrote those equations and graphing inequalities. All right, so in the real world link, it says look at these situations below, circle the numbers that are possible answers in each situation. So number one, Jessica spent more than $5 at the arcade. So if it's more than $5, what numbers would we circle? 6 through 15. So it's got to be more than 5. So it's all the numbers that are more than 5. That's how inequalities work. So number two, less than 6 people rang the bell on the mallet game. So which ones will we circle here that would work? 1 through 5. Because it's everything less than 6. 6 is not included in that because it can't be 6 and under. It's less than 6. Okay, number 3, there were less than 10 people in line for the Ferris wheel. 1 through 9. So everything less than 10 would be included in that. Okay, number 4, it cost more than 6 tokens to ride the bumper cars. 7 through 15, because it's everything above 6. Okay, number 5, there are less than 8 lemonade stands. 1 through 7, because it's everything less than 8. And number 6, there are more than 12 different flavors of taffy. 13 through 15. Okay, do you notice any patterns here with these? Are there any patterns? Okay, what are they? Okay, so that's okay. So we're not circling the one they're actually mentioning in each of the problems. Each one, we did not circle that one. It was either to the left or the right because it depends on these words right here. So we used less, less than, more than. Okay, when it reads those are the clues that they're wanting you to look at. We're not talking about operations anymore. We're talking about inequalities. So if we're talking about more than, it means all the numbers more than that number. If it's less than, it's everything less than that number. Okay, those are the patterns. All right, that's how inequalities work. So let's go on to the next page. So we're going to start off by writing inequalities for a situation. Okay, so number 1, you must be over 12 years old to ride the go-karts. So if you have to be over 12, can you be 12 and ride on that? No. Over 12. Over 12s mean everything above 12. So when we write this, you include the number they gave you, so 12, but we don't know the unknown. We don't know actually have the age. So we use a variable. So just any letter. A for age is what I'm going to use. Okay, so we have our unknown and we have our 12. Now, if it's must be over, is it going to be A is less than 12 or A is greater than 12? Greater than. Okay, because we can't equal 12, so can it be greater than equal? No, because it's got to be over 12. So A is greater than 12. That's it. That's how you write an inequality. All right. Number 2, a pony is less than 14.2 hands tall. So I'm just going to use P for pony. 14.2 is our number. Now, if it's less than that number, how would we write this? So P is less than 14.2. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Look for these words right there. So this one is, you must be at least 16 years old. Can you be 16? Yes. So can it equal 16? So the good thing is, if it's at least 16 years old to get a driver's license, are you going less than 16 or above 16? Above. So it's going to be A is greater than or equal to 16, because you can be 16 and older to get a driver's license. So everything, so you could be 16, 17, 18, blah, 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 all the way up to infinity or whatever. Okay, that's how that works. All right, so let's jump over to page 629. So all we're doing is writing an inequality for this sentence. So number one, swim practice will be no more than 35 laps. So right there, no more than. What does it? Can we go over 35? No. So we're maxed out at 35. So I'm just going to put S for swim practice. So is it going to be S is less than, S is less than or equal to, A is greater than, or S is greater than or equal to? Okay. Or equal to, because it says no more than 35 laps. So we can get 35 or anything below that. So this would be read as S is less than or equal to 35. So the only two things you have to come up with is this variable. You can use any letter, okay, the number they already give you, and then you have to decide what symbol you're going to use. Now, if you need to, you can always go back to page 618. On that page is where all those symbols are, and it would help you by showing you the phrases they use too. So back on 618, you might want to mark that page. That has all the symbols for inequalities. Okay, so going back into number 2 now. Kevin ran for less than 5 miles. So I'm going to put K and 5. Now, if he ran for less than 5 miles, how are we going to write this? K is what? Less than 5. It can't be equal because it says less than 5 miles. It's got to be everything below that. So number 3, the occupancy of the room must be less than 437 people. So it has to be less than that. So let's just put R for room, 437 people. R is less than 437. Now I can't equal that because it has to be less than that number. Okay, is everyone seeing how we're getting these? All right, let's go back to page 627, and I want you guys to do A, B, C, and D at the top. So all you're doing is writing an inequality for that. So I'll give you a couple minutes, so go ahead and get started. So you must be older than 13 to play in the basketball league. Okay, so we're talking about age again, so I'm just going to use A. It doesn't matter what you use. Okay, and then 13 was our number. So if it's must be older than, how would we write this? A is what? Destiny? Greater than 13. So it's every number above 13. It can't be 13 because they say you have to be older than that. So A is greater than 13. So letter B, to use one stamp, your domestic letter must weigh under 3.5 ounces. Okay, so I'm going to put L for letter and 3.5. Okay, so is the letter going to be greater than, less than, or whatever? What are we going to do here? What does that have to be? Less than, because it's got to be under that weight. Otherwise, you can't use one stamp. Okay, so L or whatever variable you use is less than 3.5. Okay, letter C. You must be over 48 inches tall to ride the roller coaster. So you must be over 48 inches. So let's say R for roller coaster, 48. Okay, so what is it going to be here, Destiny? Greater than. Okay, you have to be above 48 inches tall, so it's got to be every number above 48. So R is greater than 48. And the last one here, you must be at least 18 years old to vote. So I'm going to go A for age again. We got 18. Okay, so if it must be at least 18, Hunter, what are we going to put? Greater than or equal to. Good, because you can be 18 years old or anything above it. So it can be 18 or anything above. Any number 18 and above will work for this inequality. That's what you're writing these for, to figure out what numbers would actually work. Okay, so that's all I wanted you to do there was to write them out. Any questions on that part? Like I said, page 618 will help you out a lot. It uses those phrases in there that they talk about. All right, the next part of this now they're going to have you graph it. So graphing an inequality literally is just graphing on a number line, like we did with integers. Nothing crazy, okay? So you're just graphing on a number line. So to do that, they're going to give you an inequality like this. N is greater than 9. Okay, when you are graphing inequalities, okay, when you have this symbol or that symbol, greater than or less than, without the equal sign, you put a circle on the number they have in the problem. Just a circle. I'll talk about that here in a minute. If they have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you put a dot because it means it can equal that number. Okay? So this one is n is greater than 9. So on the number line, I go to 9, I put a circle because it can't equal 9. It has to be everything above 9. And then after you put your circle, you put your arrow pointing to the right because it's every number above 9. That's how you graph. It's literally a circle and an arrow, left or right, depending on if it's greater than or less than. Less than, you go to the left. Greater than, you go to the right. Okay, the next one. N is less than or equal to 10. So in this case, it's a dot that you put on 10 because it can equal 10. And then it's less than, so we go to the left with our arrow. So I literally just go to the left and draw an arrow. That's how you graph with inequalities on a number line. It's one circle or a dot, and then an arrow going left or right every time. So back to page 629 again. I'm going to do a couple of these. So on these, they didn't actually label them for you. So when they do that, okay, we have f is greater than 1. I just usually put the number they gave you right in the middle and then fill in a couple. So in this case, it'd be 0 and -1 over here. Okay, you don't have to put a crazy amount. Okay, now, since it's f is greater than 1, okay, it doesn't equal 1, so I put a circle right here, just where 1's at. Now, since it's greater, that means I go to the right with my arrow. And it's just like that. That's your answer. That's how you do this. So that shows that f is greater than 1. It doesn't equal 1, but it's every number above 1. So number 5, x is less than or equal to 5. So once again, I just put a couple numbers in down here. Doesn't matter how many you do. Okay, since it's less than or equal to, I put a dot this time because it can equal 5. Now it's less than, so we go to the left, just like that. Okay, let's do number 6 now. So y is greater than or equal to 4. So I put 4 right here, just fill in some numbers. Okay, since it's greater than or equal to, it's a dot again, because it can equal 4. And since it's greater, we go which way? To the right. All the numbers that are bigger than 4 are to the right. And that's it. So if it has greater than or equal to, it's a dot. If it's just regular old greater than or less than, it's just a circle. That's the one thing you have to remember. Because the circle means it's open because it doesn't equal 1. In this case, it can equal 5. That's why they put a dot. So let's do one more of those. Number 3 here. A is less than or equal to 6. So once again, I put 6 in the middle, put 7 and 5. Okay, so A is less than or equal to 6. Is it a circle or is it a dot? It's a dot because it can equal 6. So we put a dot. Now, since it's less than or equal to, which way do we go? To the left. All right, one more. And number 4, B is greater than 4. So we'll put 4. So there's our number line. Now, B is greater than 4. Do we put a circle or a dot? It's a circle because it doesn't equal 4. Okay, and it's greater than, so do we go left or right? To the right. And that's it. That's your graph. So I want you guys to go back to 627 and do E and F down at the bottom. So E and F. They've already labeled the number lines for you, so it makes it even easier. So go ahead and get it done. I'll give you a couple minutes. So letter E. Okay, we have A is less than 15. Okay, so are we doing a circle or dot? Circle on 15. Now, if it's less than, do we go left or right? To the left. Just like that. And letter F, B is greater than or equal to 7. So do we do circle or dot? A dot, right on 7. Okay, so do we go left or right? To the right. And there's your answer. Any questions on those graphs? All right, so the one last thing I want to show you is this real world example. So it says traffic on a residential street can travel at speeds of no more than 25 miles per hour. So no more than means what? Can we go over 25? No, your cutoff is 25 miles per hour. So they want you to write and graph an inequality for this. Well, you would just write it like we did before. So let's say speed for S and 25. So if we can't go over 25, can we go to 25? So we can equal it, but can we go over it? No. So what symbol are we going to use here? Less than or equal to. So you write it, then graph it, and that's all they want you to do for this real world situation. So like down here. Okay, Tasha can spend no more than $40 on new boots. Write and graph an inequality to describe how much she can spend. So right there, it tells us she can spend no more than $40. So let's say B for boots, $40. So what symbol are we going to use here if she can't go over 40? Less than or equal to, because she can spend 40, but she can't go over that much. So B is less than or equal to 40. So then we go to our graph. Okay, is it going to be a dot or a circle? A dot. Right on 40. And then left or right? Left. And that's it. Okay, that's the only difference. They just gave you a real world example that time. Still doing the same process. Write it out and graph it. All right, your homework for today is on IXL AA2. You have plenty of time. If you get done, I suggest working on some of your missing assignments because a lot of you have some, or if not a lot. Mainly the 4 topics that were due on Sunday. Some of you might need to go back and double check those. Others are good. Okay, you got plenty of time. 6AA2 should be a star next to it.